What is going on, YouTube? I am back working on the 67 Mustang project. For you, it's been a couple weeks. For me, it's been a couple of weeks, but for you, it's been like 4 weeks. For me, it's been like 2. Doesn't matter. In this video, I am putting in the passenger side torque box, which you can kind of see down there in the bottom of frame. And I'm going to explain this real quick. I have done some work off camera, so I'm going to show you that to you, and we're going to get into all of this. Make sure you stick around. For a little post-editorial note here, there is some footage missing at the end of this video as I'm putting the torque box in. I know I was recording because the battery went bad on my Hero 9, so I had to switch back to using my GoPro Hero 4, and I know I recorded putting in the second part of the torque box, but a lot of that footage is missing, so you will see that at the end of the video. I'm going to get this taken out of here in just a second, but this is a torque box. It's 14 gauge, it's very thick, it's supposed to get welded to the inner frame and to the outer frame, and it serves a crucial purpose in these old Mustangs. So now here is the empty box, and here is the torque box. It's just a heavy triangle that ties all of that together, and I'll explain. On unibody cars, like this Mustang, you have an outer rocker and you have your inner frame rail. It's commonly how they're done. Now, when I say frame rail, it's just a U-channel that they welded onto the unibody to serve as a frame rail for the front end. It's not a legitimate frame. But anyways, you have your inner frame rail and you have your outer rocker. And without that torque box, there is nothing to tie them together. So when you say take a really hard turn and put a lot of pressure up on that frame rail wants to move up, but the rocker doesn't. Vice versa, or in the same regard, when you accelerate really hard with a big block or a very powerful engine, the engine wants to twist that frame rail over and the rocker arm doesn't want to move. So over time, you can start to warp the car and the front of the car can kind of begin to twist. And obviously we don't want that. Now, there is a torque box on the driver's side of 67 Mustangs, but there is not one on the passenger side. So let me show you what I did to fit it off camera. There was a little bit of work done. I do apologize for this, but I had to trim down this edge just a little bit, and I had to cut a notch. See if you can see this. I had to cut a notch right along this outer rocker so that I can slide that up in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that inner plate in and fit it as best I can, and I'm going to use some self-tapping screws to really draw it down nice and tight where it's good and snug. And I'll drill a bunch of holes in it so that I can spot weld it and so that I can weld it to the outer frame. Then I will put the front piece on it. It is very, very difficult to get this in and out, so I want to do it as few times as possible. It's a very snug fit and it's really hard to get the thing in and out of there. So I'm going to get that inner plate back in, and then I'm going to show you the finished result of me drilling it basically into place. I'll explain why I'm using self-tapping screws as well. All right. Oh, whoops. I spilt all my screws. That wasn't good. I'll edit all this out. So now that, it's kind of dark in there, but now that I've got this all out, what I've done is I've taken a couple self-tappers and I've run some self-tappers into that plate. So now what that means is I can tighten it down and get it really tight and snug up against the floor. I then use my secret weapon, which is a rivet gun and a universal set, to sort of mold it to the body line so it's nice and snug. I'm now going to pull it back out. I'm going to mark a bunch of places for spot welds. I'm going to drill a whole bunch of holes in it for spot welds, and then I'm going to drive the car over to the house, plug the welder in, and I will weld that piece completely in. Once that piece is welded completely in and tight, I will then put the outside back in and beat it into shape, because I'm noticing they're not really lining up, like the flanges aren't the same. So there's going to be some massaging on that one, on the outer box, to get it all to fit right. Now, to make the welder put out enough voltage for this, because I am welding 14 gauge, I'm gonna have to switch to 240, and in order to do that I bought this adapter from Home Depot online, but basically it changes a dryer outlet to a welder outlet. Now it's 4-pronged or 3-pronged. That's because it doesn't use the common. It only uses the left, right, and the ground, or the left leg, right leg, in the ground. And then I have a 25-foot extension cord to run from my laundry room, which is actually right behind me, out to the welder. So we're going to see how this does. Part of the reason I'm glad I'm just drilling spot welds, or doing spot welds for now, is there's a lot less margin for error. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous, but there ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's see if I can't burn it in. can't believe this. I just ran out of wire. I didn't think I had that little, but I guess I did. But I got this spot welded in here. I don't know if you can see that. Got this spot welded in here. Got a spot welded down this side. Don't look at this. Sorry. Got a spot welded down this side. Here, here, here. Don't look at this. This is nasty. But the rest of it looks pretty good. Looks pretty strong. I will say, like I said, that Eastwood MiG 180 is an excellent welder. They did not sponsor the channel. But I've been using that. It's been going really, really well, making me look like a little bit better of a welder than I am. I will say this welding's actually pretty easy. I was thinking it was going to be a lot harder. It's been about 12 years since I've done it, since I took the class for it. But it's really not that hard, you know, as long as you don't blow through it, as long as you're careful. It's like this delicate line of being scared to blow through it and being too confident that you do blow through it. So there's kind of like this sweet spot where you get good root penetration and everything goes in and everything's nice and solid and welded together like it's supposed to be. But I think I found that this welder does make it easy. I do like welding on 240 a lot more than the 115. There's just a lot more oomph behind it. There's a lot more power. The arc is a lot stronger. You can definitely hear a difference in the welder, and it goes a lot smoother. So I'm gonna go buy some more welding wire and I'll get back to this. So here we are at the end of the video. As you can see, the car is already put back together. It's actually been put back together for about a week now. I'm gonna try to squeeze past the front of it because I managed to put two cars in here, and I'll try to get the camera in here and show you the torque box. Maybe you can see the torque box right there. It's already seam sealed, but it wasn't really that hard to do. I wish I had the footage for it, just like that other one. I gotta squeeze past this thing again. Ugh. Just like that other one, the inner piece. I did a lot of plug welding on it. Plug welding is actually really surprisingly easy. It's just take your time, make sure you drill a big enough hole, and then glue it in there, get it nice and strong. So the torque box is in. It is nice and strong. Really firms up that passenger side of the car. And I know it's going to sound like a placebo effect, but I can genuinely feel that the car is stiffer when I drive it. And that's actually something I say in the video immediately after this one when I do drive it, which I may or may not release because I had an issue with a neighbor. But I'm going to talk about that with the channel members and some of the people over on Discord and see what they think about it. But anyways, there you go. I really hate ending the series this way. I had a lot of good footage. I wanted to record more of that, but if you enjoyed the video, or if you've enjoyed the whole series, make sure you leave us a like, leave us a comment, subscribe. In the next video, I'm probably gonna be taking this thing for a drive. I need to go get an alignment on it. I've got a autocross event coming up with the Miata. All of that will be filmed, but I'm gonna be getting back to filming some aircraft content very, very soon. So stick around for that as well. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for following along. Thank you for being subscribed to me for this long. As always, go build something and be easy.